How you doing? I'm Rob. I work at R&D Surf. I'm the laminator. And today we're going to go through and show you how to glass the deck of a surfboard. First of all, with a free lap board like this, the board will get routed and then they will sink the boxes, and then I will put one layer of glass on the bottom. Now that's already been done, so today we're going to flip it over, we're going to grind the lap, and we're going to glass the deck. So basically I get my die grinder out, I get a couple discs, and we're just going to take the edge of the lap down so when I glass it, that it'll be nice and flat, it won't be a big ridge all the way around. Definitely don't want to burn the airbrush off. Okay, so I ground the lap, and obviously with a right angle grinder you want to be real careful not to get into the airbrush. Unlike a cut lap board, you can really get into it, but I'll come back and just kind of make sure I got everything down nice and flat. And the deck's going to get 2 layers, so the first layer is going to come all the way to the edge, and then the second layer will wrap. That gives it a lot more strength for the deck, because that's where you stand, jumping up and down and all this good stuff. So. Okay, now this board gets a patch on there, a 3/4 patch, so I'll put that on first, and then we'll put the other 2 layers on. Some people will fold the glass all the way in half. What I usually do is I just cut the angle that I'm going to cut, whether it's going to be a hex cut or a cowboy cut or an oval, and then I basically just flip it over to the other side and just match that up with it. Just line the glass up, and then you can just cut it. Now as far as when you put the inlay on, the glass really doesn't matter if it's a little crooked, but when you put the final layer on, I see the glass is coming off the roll, it's kind of got a hook in it, so basically what I'll do is I'll straighten it up, because if you don't have it straight when the board kicks, it will have a tendency to twist. So it's real important that you get it straight. And basically what I'm cutting here is I'm cutting about maybe 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/8 lap. This is a free lap board, there's no color involved, I'm not taping anything off. If it was a cut lap, we would tape off the bottom and cut the lap a lot longer for the color to hold. And that's it, we'll be ready to glass. Over here, we don't do any fingerprints. Everyone uses paper or foam to pick up the boards. That keeps the fingerprints down. and it really helps with the quality of the surfboard. Make sure it's centered. So we got it centered. We want to pull our cloth back. On a free lap like this, the boards are going to go ahead, it's like the boxes, they go ahead and put them in before they're glassed. It's like the leash cup, it'll get put in before we glass. That way they don't have to cut anything after the fact. It'll go right in, it's under all the glass, be nice and stable. And we'll be ready to glass. All right, so we're gonna get some resin. Get some resin, stick. We'll probably kick this about, I go with about 15. Got plenty of time. Put some resin down. We can see the cup. We want to wet it out. Now basically what you want to do is you want to start in the middle and work your way out. You work the board in quarters and you kind of stretch the glass from the middle to the outside. If you try and go the other way, it's going to bunch all up and get what we call speed bumps. And we don't want any speed bumps on the middle of our surfboard, so. Work that quarter. We'll come back and work this quarter. Come on this side. Generally, a rule of thumb is when you're working a board, kind of like sanding, you want to stand on the opposite side that you're working on. One good reason for that is so you don't get resin all over you. If you're swinging that squeegee around, it just tends to splash resin on you. Have a little more control over it. Now we're going to wet out this rail on this side. And we'll go to the other side. That orange is bleeding. than we got left. And we're going to put the lap up. We get the lap up, we'll go back and just clean it up a little bit. Try not to dry out the lap. Make sure everything's wet out underneath. Make sure we get all the air out of the nose and the tail. Just like that, we got one glass surfboard, and it's really close to kicking off. So the deck is glass. Basically the next step will be we will put a hot coat on it. Later this afternoon or tomorrow, the guy will put a hot coat on the bottom and the board will be ready to be sanded. So that's gonna end everything for today. I appreciate Gary for coming by, and hats off Fiberglass Florida. You guys are awesome. Thanks.